Okay, so what type of degrees do you have?
Well, I have a PhD, which is the highest, right?
I think so.
Yeah, a PhD in sociology.
Okay, and then where did you get your bachelor's, and then where did you get your PhD from?
I got my bachelor's at Loyola.
Oh, did you?
Yes. I got my PhD at the University of Illinois at Chicago.
Oh, okay. Was this what you thought your career would be when you were a freshman in college?
I was always interested in an academic career. Not sure I was thinking of becoming a professor.
Okay.
But something that had to do with research is probably the most concrete that I was back then.
Gotcha. Do you do research here?
Yeah. Oh,
You
yeah.
do?
I mean, you can't do scholarship without. I mean, you can't be a professor without doing some research.
I gotcha.
I mean, there's a big range of how much, but you know, you have to write articles and stuff based on research.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna just move around a little bit while you're asking me questions.
Yeah,
Okay?
sure thing.
That will help me.
How long have you been teaching here at Loyola?
6 years.
Okay. Did you teach anywhere else before here?
Yeah, but I taught only part-time before here. This is my first full-time.
Oh, okay.
Aren't you taking notes? Don't you
I'm recording you.
Oh, I see.
So,
okay.
yeah, faster.
It is, except in research world, it's important to always ask your subjects permission to record them.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, that's a rule in the research world.
Was it okay if I record you?
Yes, it's fine. Okay.
Okay, and then what led you to teach here?
Well, I got an offer to teach here, to teach urban sociology, which is one of my interests. At the time, I was only teaching part-time, and this was also initially a part-time position, but I didn't have any other options then.
Okay.
And it was in Chicago, whereas before I was teaching in Indiana.
Okay.
And I was living in Chicago.
Gotcha.
So I wanted something closer to home.
Yeah, right.
And then it led to a full-time job.
Okay. Can you explain your official role and responsibilities here at Loyola?
Well, I teach mostly undergraduates, and I teach courses in my areas of specialization, and that involves, and those are, urban sociology, I already mentioned, sociology of communities, religion and society.
Okay.
And I teach introductory sociology, of course, every semester. I've also taught other things like research methods, I've taught race ethnicity, I've taught other kinds of urban sociology courses.
Okay.
But I also, when you ask me about the full thing regarding what your role is and what do you do, the other side is the research.
Okay. Let's see. What advice would you give for a first-year student at Loyola?
Oh gosh, that's so broad. Can you give me any hints? I mean, what kind of thing, what are you looking for? What is the topic for your research that you're doing?
Just general tips. I mean, maybe study tips or...
So this is your University 101 class.
So just to get to know a professor better.
Okay. Well, based on things students tell me as they get older and close to graduation as well as post-graduation, there's always that, I wish I had studied a little bit more. And it's kind of old news.
Yeah.
On the other hand, it sounds a little bit old-fashioned. On the other hand, students themselves say it. So that's probably important that students know from the beginning that it matters that they focus and do as well as in their classes as they would like. On the other hand, I would say what I'm more interested in is to see students open their interests, their curiosities, broader.
Right.
Because we're all products of our upbringing. And so we come with certain expectations about what the world is.
Right.
And it's often very different from that. And it's hard sometimes to be open to that as well as to be critical of your own assumptions about the world.
Right. Okay. And then do you have any questions for me?
Well, how's Loyola so far?
I like it. I'm a transfer, so this is my first semester here, and so far it's a big change. So.
Okay, then you told me where you transferred from earlier. Right?
U of I. I don't know if I mentioned it in our interview, but U of I.
You did.
In Champaign, yeah.
Oh, from Champaign.
Mm-hmm.
And why did you move here?
I went in thinking I would be fine in a big school, and it was just too big. Everything was taught by teachers' assistants. Like, being here is my first time being taught by actual professors, and I liked it a lot better. Like, my grades are a lot better here. So.
Oh, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's sometimes hard to find the right fit.
Yeah, right.
So I'm glad that you did.
Yes.
Okay.
Good. So thank you.
You're welcome.
And let's see. I can stop this. I chose to interview my Sociology 101 professor, Dr. Wadam. I chose to interview her because I really enjoy her class. I never knew much about sociology, but from the first 6 weeks of being in the class, I've really been able to open my eyes to a new perspective about the world we live in. She's also extremely knowledgeable in her field, and I wanted to find out a little bit more of how she got to be that way. From her, I learned that at Loyola, it is required that most professors do research of their own and that they have a PhD. I also found it very interesting that she went to Loyola for her undergrad degree, too. Also, when I asked her if she had any advice for me, she said that people who are graduating say that they regret not studying enough. Already, just for my first semester alone, I find this to be true because I note that when I write papers the day before or day of, they aren't that good, and it reflects in the grade that I get. So really, if you want to succeed, you can't be lazy. I felt that this experience was good to practice talking to a teacher in a one-on-one setting because I often find myself struggling to do so without tripping over my words. At the same time, I was able to connect with my sociology teacher and to understand how she got to be where she is today.